Okay. At this point, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what the SEC is doing. I've got the wrong stream playing in the background. Breaking news, this is how the US aircraft carrier is ready to beat China. No, this is not what the stream's about. So, as you can tell from the thumbnail, there has been a development in relation to the SEC. Now, not to rip too hard into the SEC, but I mean, I can understand, again, I'm not US based, but I can understand why there's regulatory bodies that don't want people scamming people, basically, is what I think. But then you see this article here, right? And Gary Gensler is Bitcoin and bad faith SEC. It says SEC chairman under increasing scrutiny for his dealings with FTX, claims all non-BTC tokens are securities. Okay, so let's have a look at some of their logic, right? Some of the logic is as follows. This article came out, or this tweet came out, basically saying, shocking new case filed by SEC. The SEC has filed a case alleging that selling crypto mining equipment and offering hosting services for the equipment constitutes as an investment contract. Under Howey, he says, yes, you read that right. The thread goes on to explain, basically, as follows: where it was filed, some of the machines, what they were. SEC has never issued guidance formally or informally, or even hinted that selling mining equipment could be an unregistered security offering. Now, many public companies goes on to explain. What I'm noticing is, I think the PDF document is floating around somewhere. I'm not sure where that is, but these articles here in relation to the same case put forward, basically saying selling phony crypto mining equipment. So this case, from my understanding, is a group that was selling phony crypto mining equipment. And should this be allowed to proceed, it could set the precedent that selling crypto mining equipment would be, deemed a, let's look at the wording, deemed a potential investment contract. It's becoming comical at this point, because you read about the actual case, and it says here, the Bitcoin mining equipment was dressed up as that. So because a group of people, allegedly, reportedly, did this, so they were basically, whether or not their intention was to scam or they were scamming, I don't know. But because of that, a case has been brought forward, which could set precedent to make, mining equipment, selling mining equipment as security. That's insane. Now, the reason I bring it up in that way is to put forward the idea, to plant the seed of information in your mind, that maybe, just maybe, you can see how this reactionary regulation is no good. We can see a group of scammers reportedly could bring about new regulation. That makes no sense. Now, if we're talking about central bank digital currencies, for example, we have this article here. Central bank digital currencies are about control. They should be stopped, right? This is like Forbes. Some may call it a reputable article. Basically saying, they're following the... It's a decent read, What concerns me is, here in Australia, we currently have this. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of other countries around the world at the same time, in the same timeline, are doing similar sort of pilot use cases. And what are we seeing? Now, in essence, my understanding is these different groups have been selected to roll out their version of a token and how they would use it. So recently there was an interview by Australian DeFi, I think it was. And they interviewed people from not centralized, funnily enough. I'm still trying to gauge the context of it, but basically saying they're going to be able to design and use on a testnet a token, and also on a layer 2, a private testnet. I think they were using ETH, and there was another one. basically, damn, I have the notes near me. Basically, to roll out and see how that would work. Now, that doesn't sound very not centralized to me, but I can understand here the different use cases. So in itself, it doesn't seem as bad or as evil as it could get. Now, in essence, they said it's being issued by the RBA. It's going to be held as a liability on their books. So it's very similar to fiat. And the only difference is it'll be digital. And with this instance here, the non-centralized, they're basically designing it on a private testnet, deploying it, seeing how it would be used. And I'm assuming because it's running on ETH, they'll have a similar blockchain explorer and things like that. So not that different to cash or digital dollars really at the moment, except you can see the data on chain, which you can't see with a credit card, but you can see your transactions on a credit card. So the gains that they're going to be had from this experiment, I'm not too sure. Now, the thing that concerns me is not the fact that they're looking into this. It's good, I think, that they're trying to innovate what they believe is innovation by rolling out and testing, the central bank digital currency. They've got custodial models, distribution, corporate bond settlement, cross-border settlement and custody, GST, interoperable CBDC for trusted Web3 commerce, looks like MasterCard, livestock auctions, nature-based asset trading. So, different sections and how they're going to roll it out. Now, it goes on, explains a bit more about all of this. But what could that eventually lead to? Eventually, it could lead to a system whereby central bank digital currencies would give federal officials full control over the money going into and coming out of every person's account. Now, that seems like a far way away, right? But this stuff has been talked about as early as 2017 here in Australia. They're now rolling this out, the digital future of finance, or they're doing a test run, for piloting an e-digital dollar, and they're running it on their own little private test nets. And if it does get rolled out, this is the link I'm not seeing. It's not so clear. How are they going to roll it out? Are they going to forcibly make everyone hand in their cash in exchange for an account directly with, say, the RBA, who's issuing a central bank digital currency? Or are they going to issue the central bank digital currency, which is then issued through maybe a financial institution? Then you still hold an account with the financial institution, and basically you would have an app similar to online banking, and you would see your central bank digital currency, which to me, I cannot see much of a difference, except for the potential later on where they could, it's all hypothetical here, they could roll out more programming into it. Now, they might limit you from purchasing at certain shops or buying certain items or traveling, things like we see with the social credit score in China and like that. Now, people would say, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Well, I was told lockdowns weren't going to happen. And I was told, there's a lot of things that governments can do to crush people's morals, basically, and control you, which kind of sucks. Now, that is about it. It's just pointing out that there seems to be an onslaught of regulators across the world coming at cryptocurrency from different angles. Like, this is the latest one that we see, basically reportedly scammers in the space, which could give way for regulation regarding selling mining equipment. What next? All forms of staking. What next? We've seen head of SEC state that it claims all non-BTC tokens as securities, but then a few months later, not even, saying that mining equipment could be an investment contract, which would make people engage with cryptocurrency. How? If individuals can't purchase, sell, create, publish miners, See, this is the concern. But yeah, this is just, it could be imaginable horribles. It might be nothing. But yeah, just something that is on my radar, especially this digital central bank digital dollar that is coming here to Australia. And again, I'm not sure how they're going to roll it out, but time will tell. And I bet you they'll figure out a way. I bet you. What else? That's about it. Yeah, we all saw some good tweets. In closing, this one. You got more of that Twitter? Alright, that's about it. But yeah. Crypto regulation. It doesn't seem very clear or logical at this point.